Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy, is beset with many uncertainties as well as endless possibilities. The synergy of the public and private sector is pivotal to the emergence of a sustainable economic growth pattern that will benefit all citizens. Watch Business Trends, the platform where experts, public and private sector policy strategists, CEOs and regulators share their views on the growth prospects of the nation's economy. Watch Business Trends at these times. A beautiful afternoon to you. It's Business Trends on the station Galactic Television. And as you know, it's a platform where we share trending business and financial related issues. I am Izune Egasi. To stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Business Trends on Galactic Television. Now we'll begin with a story where the House of Representatives urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to transmit its copy of annual accounts certified by auditors to the National Assembly and the Presidency within 2 months after the close of each financial year, as provided in Section 50, Subsection 1 of the CBN Act 2004. Details in a moment.
The resolution emanated from a motion raised by Honorable Kingsley Chinda, Rivers State, during plenary on Wednesday. Leading the debate at plenary on Wednesday, Honorable Chinda expressed worry that the Central Bank of Nigeria has not been compliant with Subsection 1 of the CBN Act 2004, thereby rendering the law nugatory and of no effect.
Dear colleagues, the motion is on the need for the Central Bank of Nigeria to comply with the provisions of Section 50, Subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Establishment Act. The House is aware that the Central Bank of Nigeria was established under the Central Bank of Nigeria Establishment Act, Cap C4, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004. The House is also aware that Section 50, Subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act provides that the bank shall, within 2 months after the close of each financial year, transmit to the National Assembly and the President a copy of its annual accounts certified by the auditor. The House is further aware that the Central Bank of Nigeria has not been complying with the above provisions, thereby rendering the law nugatory and of no effect.
Lawmakers in supporting the motion says the audit report will help to understand the spendings of the Central Bank of Nigeria and also know the strength of the Naira.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion wholeheartedly because it is the provision of the law that the mover of the motion was citing. The word used there was shall, and if it is shall, it is mandatory. And another importance of this motion is annual report and account is very important for any organization, not to talk of even the Central Bank of Nigeria. And Mr. Speaker, Central Bank of Nigeria do sanction even commercial banks, primary mortgage banks, even community banks for not even publishing their annual report and accounts.
The motion was adopted by the House, and the presiding officer, Speaker Yakubu Dogara, mandated the committees on banking and currency and legislative compliance to ensure compliance.
Now in another story, the civil society groups called on the National Assembly to consider the passage of the budget as a matter of urgent national importance after due diligence and proper scrutiny. Now the Executive Director, Partners for Electoral Reforms, Ezenwa Nwago, made this call while addressing journalists in Abuja. Here's the report.
He said Nigeria cannot grow its economy and provide for citizens' welfare without the budget being passed, assented and fully implemented. Nwagu maintained that it is the statutory function of the National Assembly to pass the appropriation, stressing that the delay currently witnessing on the budget is unpatriotic and sabotaging Nigeria's growth and development.
We further call for adequate funding of the SDGs to enhance effective implementation. Slow implementation of reforms in the extractive sector The implementation of reforms in the extractive sector has rather been very slow and not deep enough. Considering the absence of effective policy and legislative reforms that would institutionalize and make it sustainable, we call on government to expedite the implementation and institutionalization of reforms in the sector by ensuring that, one, the federal government reconstitutes the interministerial tax team and empowers it to implement recommendations from reports of NATI. The government should also expedite action for the cleanup of Ogoni.
Earlier, Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Ibrahim Anwar, urged the executive arm of government to sign the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit Bill, which was recently passed by the National Assembly, so as to avoid the suspension of ordinary Nigerians from using their debit and credit cards in the international payment system.
$2.9 billion has been received between May 2015 and October 2017, but there is still little information and absence of clear guidelines on how these recovered assets are utilized to maximally benefit the common citizens whose interests government had promised to protect. With the overlapping mandate of anti-corruption agencies on asset recovery management, it is unclear which of the many anti-corruption institutions take a lead in the coordination of asset recovery efforts. Crucial legislature with potential to establish an acceptable asset recovery management framework, such as Proceeds of Crime Bill 2014, is still without explanation in the National Assembly. The suspension of Nigeria from the elite Egmont groups of financial intelligence agencies is ample evidence of the chaotic institutional structure in the anti-corruption domain, bedeviled by inexplicable interagency robbery and lack of coordination of anti-corruption efforts. Although the National Assembly has recently passed the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit Bill, if the executive does not sign into it as a law, Nigeria will be expelled from Egmont Group. The implication for the ordinary Nigerians is that our debit card, credit card, would be suspended from the international payment system. So by implication, all of you here, if you travel to Ghana, if you travel to Asia, anywhere you go, your ATM cannot work. So we have collective interest on this. So you need to put pressure on the government to make sure that they do that, because if Nigeria is suspended, your ATM card is useless outside Nigeria. And many of you travel, and you cannot pay hotel bills. You cannot even eat in some restaurants until you use your ATM. So this is something that you must, join hands to make sure that we put pressure on the Nigerian government to sign, because all of us, we are bonded in this.
All right, still ahead, the Senate suspends Thursday's plenary. Details coming up after this break, so stay tuned. Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy, is beset with many uncertainties as well as endless possibilities. The synergy of the public and private sector is pivotal to the emergence of a sustainable economic growth pattern that will benefit all citizens. Watch Business Trends, the platform where experts, public and private sector policy strategists, CEOs and regulators share their views on the growth prospects of the nation's economy. Watch Business Trends at these times.
The resolution at the Red Chamber as such was at the instance of the Senate leader, Ahmed Lawan, at the close of the day's activity.
I want to move that this Senate do adjourn till Tuesday next week. That will be the 16th of May 2018. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Those in favor of the motion that we hereby adjourn till Tuesday, the 15th of May, 2018 at 10 a.m. prompt, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is accordingly adjourned to Tuesday, 15th May, 2018, 10 a.m. prompt.
The Senate spokesperson says the suspension of plenary is part of measures to ensure the budget passage.
But because they have not been able to lay it today, tomorrow we are adjourning, so which means next week, for sure, when we come back on Tuesday, They will lay the report, and by Wednesday we'll be approving it. I think the last time I briefed, it was through my appearance on Channels TV. I made that statement very clearly, that these are the two possibilities. And what is holding them back is just one or two things, to be sure that through the, you need to really do what we call due diligence to be sure that everything adds up. Because if you make a mistake, that mistake can also be costly. So I think that is just what they are trying to do. And the good thing is that it's a joint harmonizing work between the House and the Senate.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has requested Senate approval of a promissory note program which is geared towards settling inherited local debt and contractual obligations.
There is a lot of bad debt or debt stock owed to local contractors, which has resulted in many of them closing shop, many of them either suspending or reducing their staff strength and so on and so forth. And we believe, as part of the measures to reflect the economy, then government should do something about paying most of these local contractors. I think it's on the strength of this that this particular, idea of promissory note program and bond issuance is considered very important. So a committee has been set up for this, and the committee will look into this and report back to plenary.
The 7-member committee of the Senate to look at the president's request is headed by Senator Francis Alimikena.
Now, finally on the program, the Nigeria Customs Service Tinkan Island Port Command has reaffirmed its commitment to the transformation of revenue collection and reporting system with implementation of Nigerian Customs Integrated System 2. Now, the Customs Area Comptroller Abdullahi Baba Musa stated this while addressing newsmen on the giant strides of the nation island port between January and April 2018. Here's the report.
He said the revenue collection in the last 4 months amounted to 104.5 billion naira, as against a projection collection of the 116 billion naira, recording a performance rate of 90%. The Customs Area Controllers spoke on the command's performance and federal government initiative on export and the seizure made, which has total duty paid value of 124 million naira. He noted that effort has been intensified under the federal government presidential initiative on ease of doing business to improve the command's performance.
Our revenue performance for the period January to April 2018. The revenue collection for the period under review, January to April 2018, amounted to the sum of 104.5 billion as against a projected collection of the sum of 116 billion, recording a performance rate of about 90.09%. If we compare the collection, that is a comparative analysis against the collection for the same period 2017. In the same period, 2017, we collected 82.154 billion. Therefore, there's an improvement in the figure with about 22.68 billion, which is equivalent to an improvement of about 27.61%. The improved collection so far has been driven by the adherence to standard operating procedure and strong revenue drive achieved through blocking of areas of revenue leakages. You are all aware of the NASS implementation. Tinkan Island Command is committed to transformation of our revenue collection and reporting system with the implementation of the NASS 2, which is an upgrade of NASS 1 with additional functionalities. As part of the specific gains with the implementation, we have the biometric access system now, running. We are introducing a one-stop shop which will enable treatment of declaration with valuation, classification, and other related clearance issues, that is query. In the meantime, the renovation of the space for the one-stop shop is in progress. So, automation of cargo examination and assignment process, where examining officers or examination officers are assigned examination automatically. This is designed to ensure transparency in the inspection system and prevent connivance. The vehicle valuation system is being further improved with the attachment of valuation note issued so that the note is attached to the SGD in the system. This will enable a quick verification of assessment and duty payment. Instead of having to go back to valuation, go and verify those is there in the system. So the releasing officers are given this opportunity to look at the declaration, look at the valuation not issued, and then do a verification, and issues are resolved within minutes. Ultimately, the full automation of vehicle valuation system will soon be achieved. Well, Tinkan Island Port, as part of what we do, is not import, and import. We also have export. So the federal government, we are all aware of the federal government initiative on export, especially the agricultural commodities. This is beginning to yield results. For the period under review, January to March 2018, agricultural product export amounted to about 38,517 metric tons. That is in volume. The FOB value of the export is about 22.435 billion. Processed and manufactured goods stand at about 6,945 metric tons. FOB value of the export amounted to about 6.711 billion. For the period under review, about 45,462 metric tons of export goods were exported through Tinkan Island Port. FOB value stand at about 29.146 billion. When compared with the same period 2017, where we had about 8,140.6 metric tons with FOB value of about 7.246 billion. So there's appreciable improvement in the export to the tune of about 558.46% in terms of volume, and then 402.24% in terms of FOB value. So you can see there's appreciable improvement in the volume and value of export carried out through Tinkan Port. The items being exported include the following: agricultural products, we have cashew nuts, we have soya beans, we have rubber, we have hibiscus flower, we have cocoa butter, we have sesame seed, processed wood, frozen shrimps, processed leather. While the manufactured products, we have things like empty bottles, we have biscuits, we have cigarettes, we have polyethylene, we have billets, we have soap, hair cream, and tissue paper. All these items are being exported out of this country, are manufactured and exported out of this country.
Nigeria, Africa's biggest economy, is beset with many uncertainties as well as endless possibilities. The synergy of the public and private sector is pivotal to the emergence of a sustainable economic growth pattern that will benefit all citizens. Watch Business Trends, the platform where experts, public and private sector policy strategists, CEOs and regulators share their views on the growth prospects of the nation's economy. Watch Business Trends at these times. Now that's it on Business Trend for today. You can reach us on our social media platforms that will be displayed on your screen. I'm Izinne Egasi. Do have a great day.